Hi, everyone. Um, I forgot to unmute everything at the beginning of this, so that's why no one has been able to hear anything.
Uh-oh.
Um, just to give you guys, I feel really stupid.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a rough day, guys. To catch you up on the past, let's see, 10, 20 minutes of the game, they're in prison. Preach Breyer is being read a list of charges against her. She recognizes some of the crimes. She doesn't recognize all of the crimes. I'm going to move that just a little bit. And she realized that the crimes are actually in thieves' cant. And someone is giving her a message. The words she worked out were framed. A couple others that I can't remember, and she basically has been told to wait for a signal to act. Nobody else is aware of that. And Lillian, you would recognize a few of the crimes. They were big enough events that you would have known about them. You would have heard about them. Like some of the assassinations she's accused of. By the way, thank you. I am not going to try and pronounce your name, except for the fact that it is gaming at the end. Because, yeah, there's a lot of letters in there. But thank you for letting me know I was muted. Anyways, so yeah, a couple of assassinations, you remember them happening. You remember no one was technically ever caught when it happened. So yeah, but some, this is a list of 40, 50 some odd crimes, and each one has a slight description after it. So you guys are sitting there for like 45 minutes listening to these crimes. It is unbelievably boring, and very very formal as he's reading off all of these things. And you guys recognize like he seems to be using weird um, turns of phrases and things like that to describe certain things. But beyond that, you're like, this is just wow.
I
And
try to force a yawn, seeing as how I haven't yawned in ages, so I don't know what I'm doing.
make a performance check.
Natural one. Failure to yawn.
Well, even with the +5, it's a 9.
So you go yawn.
He actually says it.
You just hear Argenta like whistle when he's done listening to crimes, and he's just like, "That's an impressive list."
So again, this goes on for about 45 minutes. The Herald, whatever person, the fancy dude, does stop for a brief moment after he hears the word yawn, and just kind of gives you a dirty look.
I try and cover my face in case he's able to see my bad eye.
Yeah, you still have your cloak and hood and everything like that, so you're still
Okay.
pretty well covered.
Okay.
And as he's getting near the end of it, because you guys can kind of see, he starts to pick up his pace a little bit. You see him running out of scroll and parchment. So you guys kind of get the idea that it's got to be over soon. You hear more footsteps behind. You hear the jostling of armor and stuff like that, and you see the vampire lord from before come in and just kind of stand waiting for the rest of the charges to be read. And after they're done, the herald again clicks his heels, bows almost all the way to the floor to the vampire lord, tucks the parchment under his arm again, and says, "The sentence for all of these crimes is death by beheading.
Yeah, sorry. I got bored halfway through that long list of bullshit. Can I have a copy of that?
He is doing his best to ignore you, but you can see his face slightly show a little bit of color, which for a vampire is very impressive. The vampire lord steps forward, still in his full armor. You can see his sword in its scabbard on his back. He steps forward and goes, "Well, now that that's over, sorry I'm late. I figured I would have plenty of time to get here before anything happened with that lovely rendition of poetry we were just subjugated to."
I started with it. It was a rather strange alarm clock.
The rest of you, this is far more simple. You have conspired with a known terrorist. You have bared false testimony to a vampire lord. You have left out certain important facts that I've discovered during my deliberations. And therefore you will all share her fate. In Sanguinius, we do not permit espionage or terrorism, nor do we allow those who aid in its execution. Guards, and all the guards now, some of which had partially fallen asleep in their armor, jerk up. They have really big halberds. Collect the prisoners. The sentence will be carried out immediately by my blade. And the guards start coming to your cells. 6 more guards come in, so there's 2 at every cell. They start unlocking them. One unlocks while the other one points a halberd.
Are you still have my weapons, right?
Currently, yes. As soon as they open your cell, one of them is pointing a halberd at you while the other one is going to disarm you. Unless you want to attempt to put up some sort of a fight.
Yeah, I draw my sword and try to fight one of the helpers around.
Okay.
Anyway, get it out of my face.
As you draw your swords, the vampire lord comes over, because they've both now just leveled their halberds at you, and there's really not, like, the cell is barely 5 feet by 5 feet. Like, it's a very, very small cell. And so they have their halberds pointed at you. They're keeping you as far away from them as they physically can. And the vampire lord comes over, draws his greatsword, and steps between them, and just kind of points it, holding it in one hand at you, and goes, "I like you. I think you've got spirit. However, you are now a convicted terrorist, and will die by my blade, either at the execution or right here. If you want to die with some dignity, disarm yourself, and I will ensure that your death is as painless as possible." If you attempt to resist, I will ensure that your last moments are the most agonizing moments of your life. And I will ensure that the rest of your friends, before they are beheaded, pay the full blood tax. And I don't think I have to tell you what an incredibly painful endeavor that is. So drop your swords now.
I had to take a moment, walk over to my friends, and then they finally dropped it.
Thank you. One of the guys with the halberd kind of uses it to scoot your swords away, then picks them up, and then finds a secret.
There is no sword.
There is no sword. The sword is a lie. So the rest of you guys, you are basically kind of presented the same way Liliana is. You have two guys pointing big, sharp things at you, kind of rushing you out of your cells. They start manacling you guys together to form a kind of chain gang, so that they can transport you easier. You have leg manacles and arm manacles. While this is happening, is there anything any of you want to try and do overtly, secretively, anything?
I mean, normally yes, but seeing as how my hands have been bound this whole time, no.
Gotcha. I mean, if you want to try something, you can. The things that's tied is they've basically tied your fingers like this,
Yeah.
so you still
the
have
two,
use of your
The only-
hands.
the only two things I think Henri would try to do is either some sort of sleight of hand shenanigans or spells, and I can't do either, so
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'm just muttering under my breath, I may fall, but not like this. I may fall, not this place. And I'm just
Okay.
hoping something will turn out. Because I know my story's not going to end like this.
Okay.
I start playing in the dark crazy.
Okay.
I'm that, like, scary, calm, and confident.
Okay. So you guys all get lined up. You all get manacled together, and they start marching you up. As you leave the room, you go up a flight of stairs to the main kind of jail area. You see other guards and things like that. You're apparently in the guardhouse of this city, and it's a pretty big one. Briar, having dealt with sneaking in and out of places, you're kind of happy that you don't have to try and sneak out of this one, because you don't think it's possible from where you were. There's just so many guards here. There's so many doors and so much ground to cover before you would even get to a place. And windows are not like a big deal with vampires for some bizarre reason. So, yeah, you are marched out. When you get to the outside, because it's easier to maneuver, you drop down from having a dozen guards guarding you down to 6 plus the Vampire Lord. And they kind of just form a circle around you with the halberds pointed at you as they kind of force you forward. I think for all of you, minus maybe Vala, I think, or Liliane, I can't remember which backstory it was. This is your first time being actually in a vampire city. Normally, non-vampires are not allowed in this part of the city. There's the outer city where all of the regular humanoids would live, and then there's the inner city, which is populated entirely by vampires and their familiars or their servants or other things. Familiars is kind of a blanket term for everything from a servant to courtesan, just humans that they use for whatever purpose. And generally, once a human or humanoid, any humanoid race is let into one of the vampire cities, they never come out. They are either turned if they're very, very lucky, or normally what happens is they're killed and drained of their blood. So as you guys look around, it is kind of unique. It's a very gothic architecture that you see all around. You see vampires walking around. Some of them are kind of staring at you awkwardly. You can see some of the Blood Guard walking around. And you see the city itself is relatively large. And as you guys kind of adjust your eyes, you do notice that it is completely overcast right now, and you can hear thunder. And anyone that's lived in Sanguinius knows they actually employ druids to ensure that it is, at least over the vampire portion of the city, it is always overcast.
When I hear the rumbling of thunder in the distance, I'm just like, the dervish watching, save me from this. The Fang must pay.
As you say that, the vampire lord goes, your prayers are going to fall on deaf ears. You see, spies and terrorists are not looked upon fondly by the gods. And he begins to take you through. As you guys are walking, Briar, I'd like you to make me a perception check.
Oh no. 1924.
So, scanning around, you see a symbol in Thieves' Camp that you recognize generally means like a hidden cache or something similar to that. And you're going to be walking, literally being marched right past it.
Past the symbol?
Yes.
Is it like on a wall?
It's
or...
you guys are kind of going through. You're not being marched down the center street. You're kind of going through like side streets and back alleys and stuff like that. And so the symbol that you see is on the wall of a building near a pile of garbage.
Ah. Okay. As we walk by it, oh Lord, I am going to trip and fall and throw myself in that direction.
Okay. Make me an acrobatics check.
Oh, Lord.
See how accurate your intentional tripping is.
17?
Okay. You are in between Henri and the commander. They come with you because you are attached. And you fall. One of the halberds just barely misses cutting your neck just because that's the way that you fell. And as you get in the garbage, Commander and Henri, you guys get a face full of garbage, and it is horrible smelling. Something has died in here multiple times. To the point where you're like, just you can feel the throw up just at the back of your throat, getting ready. You may even dry heave a little bit. And the guards aren't even willing to pick you up. They take the other end of their halberds and just try to lift you back up. Briar, while you're down there, you are able to pick up what feels like a set of lockpicks and a very, very small dagger, more like a shiv than anything else, just a sharpened piece of metal, very easy to hide, and a key that you believe probably fits your manacles.
Yeah, we're just gonna quickly hide all of that.
Okay. Again, because of just the incredibly rancid smell and everything like that, the guards aren't even looking at you that much. Like, they're turning their heads away to avoid the smell. Because when you hit the garbage pile, something burst. And the rest of you guys can smell this too. It's just awful. So you have more than enough time to sequester the items on your person. You smell horrible right now, by the way.
Yeah, before I start standing back up, I'm gonna make sure I roll around just a little bit more.
Before I get up, the nearest guard is probably laced with vomit.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna say under my breath and hope that Henri or Commander can hear me, but nobody else. I'm just gonna say, I got this.
Go ahead and make me a stealth check. Henri, Commander, make me perception checks.
Again, I didn't hear anything. I was too busy vomiting with a nat 1.
Henri is projectile vomiting.
I rolled a 25.
Okay.
I rolled 19.
All right. So, Henri, you, because none of the guards are within, they're about 10 feet away from you now. They're using the very tips of their halberds to lift you guys back up because they don't want to get near you. So you're still able to projectile vomit 10 feet away.
So this is The Exorcist?
Apparently. I think it's impressive.
Demon!
You know, he is the outcast. You don't know what that means. Commander, though, as you're getting up and you're kind of cursing under your breath and trying to hold things in, you hear Briar say, I got this. Very confidently.
I guess I'm not really knowing what she meant. I'll try and keep the attention of the guards if they look towards us on me and not like towards whatever she's doing.
Okay. What specifically are you doing?
If they start looking, I start complaining and yelling about the smell and yelling at Breach. And then if
just throwing a hissy fit,
pretty much, and if not pseudo, but dry heave and act like I'm going to puke and aim at them so they look away.
Go ahead and roll me a performance check.
Ah, crap.
Oh dear.
Oh, not bad. What's my performance? 19.
19. Okay. So you make a big deal and you start dry heaving. They give you even more space. A couple of the guards do some very basic physics and realize if they yank on the prisoners on the outside, because you're all connected, that will kind of force the ones that are now covered in filth to get out of the filth. So they start, the people on the two ends are Liliane and Argenta.
I'm not going to let them yank on me. I'll just yank myself because I'm strong enough.
So one of the guards comes over and starts pulling on your chains, and you're just, I got this. Yank. Liliane, they start pulling yours so that Briar and Commander and Henri get up and get out of the filth and everything like that. The Vampire Lord is visibly ill at this point. And you can hear him cursing. And you guys hear another roll of thunder. Something seems off about the thunder. I just realized I have music.
Hey.
Go and make these playlists and things like that. Completely forget.
Is it Imagine Dragons? Thunder?
It is not Imagine Dragons Thunder.
Dang!
It does start to rain a little bit as a storm. You guys hear thunder, but something about this thunder seems wrong. And who has the highest passive perception?
I'm
I
at
have a
16.
Anyone have a
15.
higher? You have a 15. Anyone have a higher
Yeah.
than 15?
I have
I have
16.
a 15 as
I
well.
have 15.
Damn, you guys all have really good perception. So anyone with a 15 or higher, you guys notice that the Vampire Lord hears... You notice his expression changes with the roll of thunder. And you hear another roll of something that sounds like thunder, but isn't. And then another one, and another one, and another one. And you start realizing this isn't thunder, these are explosions. And you
I'm gonna
guys
start
can see.
unlocking.
Okay, go ahead and are you doing it? Are you
I'm
trying
doing
to
it
be
stealthily.
secretive? Okay. Go
Yeah.
ahead and make a sleight of hand check for me.
21.
Anyway, so yeah, with the key, you have no problem getting the manacles unlocked, but still on you, and the leg manacles as well. So you are technically no longer attached, but you are still wearing them.
Okay.
So that they can't tell. The rest of you guys, you see lights in the distance, and you feel kind of waves of pressure just kind of wash over you as these explosions that are happening relatively far away are apparently powerful enough that they're, like, you can feel them in the ground. You can feel little vibrations and stuff like that. And the Vampire Lord pulls out his greatsword, and he turns. He's like, "Take these prisoners to the gallows. I'll meet you there momentarily. I have to take care of this." And then he vanishes into shadow.
When you finish it, you say the guards at the pits pointed at us.
They did when when Briar, Commander, and Henri all fell into the garbage. They flipped the halberds around so they wouldn't be sticking the metal into whatever it was there. And they've been using the blunt end of the halberds, and they haven't flipped around yet because this has all happened kind of all at the same time.
Right.
So the Vampire Lord disappears. The rest of the guards kind of look at each other. You guys are in a side alley right now. You can see one of the main thoroughfares is about 100 feet down this alley. And you're at a T intersection. And they were turning you towards the east in this T intersection. And there's north, south, and east is where it goes from. You came from the south, you're turning to the east. The south exit is about 50 feet away. The east exit's about 100 feet away, and then the north exit's about 150, 200 feet away. And the guards are trying to prod you guys and get you moving again. Is there anything that you guys want to do now?
So on the blood and well, is that where I can try and grab one of them?
Sure, if you'd like to.
Yeah.
It'd be a contested strength check.
Yeah, I want to try and grab and rip it away from them.
Okay. Go ahead and make your strength check.
I'm still keeping up the throwing the hissy fit charade, but it's slightly doing it for real because I'm like really gross feeling right now.
I got 2 here.
All right. So before he realizes what's happening, you sit there and you twist the halberd, flipping it out of his hands, and you now have a halberd. Because you are manacled, if you attempt to make any attacks with it, they'll be at disadvantage. But you have a weapon and he doesn't now. As soon as that happens, the other guards kind of stop paying attention to the commander because one of the people is armed. One of the prisoners is armed. And even being at a disadvantage, that's still very dangerous.
Yeah, I want to try and get along now.
Okay. So Lillian is going to go ahead and try and attack the guard that he just took this from. The rest of you guys see this happen. I'm going to let basically everybody take, a turn, basically. So we'll start with Argenta. You saw Lillian take it. What do you want to do?
The moment that I see her take it, I'm basically shoving. When they all turn to face her, I bring my arms up over one of the guards' heads, and I'm going to try and choke him with the manacles.
Okay, it'll be another contested strength check. I'll give you advantage on that, seeing as you're kind of big, and wasn't expecting it.
Okay. So. 21.
I'll get to your attack roll just because you're at the end of my screen. I'll get to your attack roll and everything at the end, Lillian. So Argenta, you are able to, since again you're on the other side of this, everyone is looking in the other direction. You just take the one closest to you and get the chains around his neck, and he can't say anything. And there's explosions happening. They don't really realize one of their buddies is being choked out. So as you sit there, just kind of going shh, 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 you slowly feel the body go limp.
I grab his halberd and now I'm armed.
Vala, what do you do? And this is all happening technically simultaneously. So
I just turn to the nearest guard and I'm like, "Oh my god, help me! Help me! They're murderers! I don't know how I ended up here!" And I cast Friends on him.
Okay, and that has no somatic components, it's just verbal? Is anything with somatic components you can't cast?
It is. It does have somatic material.
Okay,
So I will just break down into tears and do my best. Help me! I'm not one of them. Help!
All right, make a performance check.
Performance. 23.
Okay. So the guard nearest to you is now like you're sitting there and you're grabbing onto his pauldrons and things like that and crying and weeping, and he tries to kick you off, and you just keep kind of clawing and so eventually he picks you up, and now his halberd is just kind of stuck in the ground so he can get a good grip on you. And as he does that, because of just the force of lifting you and everything like that, your hands come undone.
Oh,
You're still
my hands are
manacled, but the ties that were keeping your hands basically preventing you from making somatic components break, because as you're sitting there kind of rubbing on his metal things, you technically cut. And then as he lifts you up, that's all it really needed for them to snap. So now you're sitting there manacled, but your hands are free. They're still, manacled to each other, but you can now, anything with verbal or somatic components, you now can cast.
Okay.
However, that is your turn.
Okay, yeah.
So, Commander.
Is there one right next to me within elbow swinging distance?
There's one next to each one of you, though yours is technically about 10 feet away because you stink.
Oh.
But you can cover that distance very quickly to get within elbow distance. You might take Briar with you for a second, though.
That's fine. She threw me in the trash thing or what to do. I'm going to run back and try to elbow him in the nose, or across the person's nose to cause him to go off balance, and see if I can't do the whole chain around the neck thing as well.
Okay, make me an attack roll first. Strength attack roll.
Oh no! Natural 20.
Yeah.
You spin, and due to the fact that you're not a particularly strong person, but you are a relatively smart person, you know if you attempt to punch this guy with a helmet on, you're going to break your hand. And that's going to cause lots of problems.
Yes.
So you dip down and swing your leg up in a spinning hook kick and smack him right on the side of the helmet, and you hear a very satisfying crunching sound as his head spins much further than it should be able to, and he collapses on the ground.
Hey guys, I did something.
Henri.
Seeing as how I'm surrounded by stink, I'm just going to walk up to the nearest guard and be like, I don't feel so...
It really isn't a puke roll.
I mean, I could treat it like an improvised weapon, because I can't do anything else.
Is there any goal you have to puking on him? Like, do you want to try and make him slip and fall on your vomit? Do you want to gum up his armor, make him drop his halberd because it's slick with vomit? Anything, or do you just want to puke on him?
Seeing as how I have the lowest passive perception and didn't notice anything, I probably don't even know what's going on at the moment.
Okay. So you just go over and hurl on him. Gotcha. Briar, you watch as Lillian takes it and starts swinging the halberd. All the rest of this stuff is kind of happening simultaneously. You start feeling a tugging on your manacles as the commander moves to kick this person. And you realize if somebody tugs too hard on your manacles, they're gone.
Yeah.
So...
when I unlocked myself,
Mhm.
would I have also, broken the ties on my fingers?
You would have been able to cut them with the dagger that you found. You technically would have had to be able to hide all that stuff, so...
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Alright, so as soon as I feel that Commander is tugging me, I'm going to go invisible.
Okay.
And just drop all of the manacles and poof, gone.
So, Commander, you see this as you kind of charge forward, pulling Briar along with you, go down, do this roundhouse kick, and as you pull her, she just disappears and her manacles drop to the ground. And you've seen her go invisible before. You know the invisibility spell. It doesn't, her manacles should have disappeared with her. So, as far as you know, you have just pulled her out of existence.
Oh god! What have I done?
But after I go invisible, I'm see Henri projectile puking, I'm gonna wait for him to finish, and then like walk up to him and whisper in his ear to play it off and start trying to unlock him.
Okay. So that happens. Lillian, go ahead and make me a unfortunately strength-based attack. Since the halberd is not a finesse weapon.
Was I still get proficiency and all that?
You're proficient with... I believe you're proficient with all martial weapons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you'd be proficient with it.
That would be 20, not slow.
Okay, that's enough. So you sit there, you pull it, and as you twist it out of his hand, you spin it and bring it across the neck, and you see blood just start going down this guard's armor as he falls down. So currently, we have Argenta has taken out one guard, the commander has taken out one guard, Liliana has taken out one guard, Vala is very close to one guard, Henri is very close to one guard, and one guard is trying to figure out how the commander yanked Briar out of existence. 3 guards remaining. At this point, Henri, your fingers have been cut loose, and your hand manacles, you can feel, are no longer locked. They're just still on you, and you can hear Briar going for your legs. The rest of you guys have now seen everything that's gone on. Does anyone have something that they want to do immediately, knowing this information?
How in all the manacles I've ever been in, how high quality do these look?
Very high quality. Breaking them would be impressive.
I'm going to attempt just that as I raise.
Picking them would be impressive as well. Okay. It's a strength-based check. So an athletics check, you get advantage because you're raging.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard.
I will take that 19 plus 9 for 28.
Damn. So you guys watch as Argenta just, you see veins start bulging, you see the guard just kind of drop, and you see... and she just snaps the chain holding the manacles together in half. And you now basically have an improvised weapon on each arm because the chains are massively heavy. So...
And then I just look at the guards.
Them if you want.
I'm just looking at the guards and I'm still raging and I'm just like, I suggest you run as I start swinging them.
Okay. That was Argenta. Who else wants to be next?
The guard that I'm right up next to, once I feel that I can just easily remove the manacles, I'm just going to put my hand up to his stomach and just say sorry and cast Shadow Blade into him.
He stiffens and falls as you pull the Shadow Blade out from his stomach. And you feel a click as your legs now feel freer. And you have a Shadow Blade with a little bit of blood dripping off of it. Very, thick, dark red, viscous blood. Which, vampire blood in general tends to be really, really thick and dark. That's your turn. You now have a Shadow Blade. Anybody else?
I'm just gonna keep going to person and unlocking them while invisible.
Okay. Who do you go to next?
I would think Commander, because he was the next closest to me, right?
Yep.
So yeah, Commander.
Okay, Commander, you feel click, click. You feel your hands and legs are free. Briar is no longer trying to make it look like you guys are still held. She's just taking the manacles off.
Each set I take off, I'm gonna throw at one of the guards too. Just
Okay. Make me a strength attack roll because they're heavy.
this should be fun. Natural one.
You miss.
I get it.
Commander, you take 1 point of damage as
Yes, what I
Briar
thought.
just smacks you upside the head as she's trying to hit it.
Sorry.
So Argenta, Briar, and Henri have gone. Who wants to be next?
I would like to take my new guard friend and actually cast friends on him this time,
Okay.
and just please, you have to save me. They're going to kill us. They're going to kill all of us. What are we going to do?
It's a save, right?
No. For the duration, you have advantage on all charisma checks directed
okay.
at one creature of your choice. This
Okay.
lasts for a minute, and then he knows he was charmed.
Okay. So yeah, you see him kind of soften a little bit. He holds you a little bit closer, caresses you. Go ahead and make me a persuasion check, or deception check, I guess, would be more apt, with advantage.
Ooh.
Tiny dancing from Elton
17.
John in the background.
He slowly kind of moves you around so that he is he's put himself between you and the rest of the party, and is brandishing his halberd to protect you. Commander Lillian,
The guy that I took out, did I kill him or did I
He's
just
dead.
die in my heart?
he's dead. You could hear him kind of gurgling and bubbling, so he's not dead yet. But you severed some arteries. It won't be long. He's let's put it this way: he's not getting better. Like we're looking at revivify situation here.
I
Undead
feel
are real weird.
predictable.
He's effectively dead. Yeah, so it's just flavor text that it's it takes longer than 6 seconds to bleed out. So, but he's effectively dead. Mechanically, he's dead.
Yeah.
So what did you want to do then?
I was just gonna finish him off so we were instantly dead.
Okay. What I'm saying is you don't have to finish him off. He's dead.
Yeah,
It was just-
I don't want to.
Oh, okay. So you stick the halberd at him. He's extra dead now. So there are 2 guards left. One is guarding Vala. The other one is quickly realizing that this is a bad situation, and you can see that he's starting to look for a way to escape, to get help. I think, Commander, you're the only person that hasn't done anything yet.
I wanted to go and inspect the guard I got, see what he had on him, and take his halberd.
He had a halberd and armor that you can't take. Because
Okay.
it would require... I mean, you can take after combat. It takes longer than 6 seconds to strip armor off of someone.
Yeah. Okay. I'll
So
take
you
his
do
halberd.
pick up the halberd. Let's say that's a free action. So you can do something with it if you want. And
I
you
guess
are no
that- right.
longer manacled or anything, so you have full movement, everything.
Am I close enough to that guard that's looking to squirrely to?
You
make an
can
attack?
be.
Okay, I'll
You
do
have
that.
reach with the halberd. So
Uh,
you want to attack him, or what do you want to do?
yeah, I wanted to attack him.
All right, go ahead and make a strength attack roll.
This is fun.
You would have proficiency because you, being a fighter, you have proficiency in martial weapons. So
Okay. That's a little better. That's 15.
that's good enough. As he starts to turn, you thrust it in, find a spot in between scales. They're wearing scale mail. In between, and skewer him.
Oh. Okay.
So he is down. There's now one left, guarding Vala. I'll let Vala start this time. His back is to you now.
So I still have the manacles on, correct?
Currently, yes.
All right. How much taller is this guard than me?
What's your race again?
I am a half drow.
After he'd be similar height, maybe a little bit taller.
Okay. I'm gonna take the chains, put him over his neck, and try to choke him out.
All right, it'll be a
Just
contested strength check. You get advantage on it though, because he wasn't expecting it.
all right. 19.
This does break friendship.
Yeah. Just shh.
And
Just
you,
let it happen. Just let it happen.
You feel the body
This is for the
limp
best.
as
This
it
is for the best.
hits the ground, and he kind of turns to you as you kind of let him go. You see this look of betrayal in his eyes from his best friend.
I just saved your life.
Briar, as you look around, you see a little bit further down another thieves' camp mark. This one roughly translates means weapons.
Okay.
And you see it's near some crates.
I'm going to, I guess, tell Commander that there are weapons ahead, and then I'm gonna go get them.
Okay. As you open it up, everything that was taken of you, other than Lillian's swords, which were on one of the guards, you were able to just take them off him. The rest of your equipment is in these containers.
Sweet!
The equipment that was taken from you when you were first arrested and everything, it's all there.
Well, I'm of course going to get all of my stuff first.
Well, everyone's over there getting their stuff. I'm gonna collect a vial of one of the guards' blood.
Okay.
It just needs humanoid blood.
Just, there's a time in a DM's life where you player say something and you go, wow. That is a terrifying thought that was their first thought. Cool.
Okay, so I rolled a 26 to break out of my feet manacles.
Yeah. Everyone else, Briar unlocks them. Or Jensen, no. You just break shit.
Then I return the halberd to the guard I took it from. By return, I mean I stab him with it, and then I go and collect my actual gear.
Okay. So you guys have your weapons. You they never really took your armor because you were never really you weren't technically under arrest until they charged you. So they left you in your armor just because they really didn't see any reason to take it from you. And it's a pain in the ass to take armor off of someone that doesn't want you to. And it's just as easy to cut your head off in armor as it is outside of it. So you guys are now in an alleyway in the center of a vampire city, and you stick out like sore thumbs. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna take a second and use what is it? Mask of Many Faces.
Okay.
Cast Disguise Self. I'm gonna give myself red eyes, pale skin, white hair. Change my features a little bit so I don't look like myself anymore.
Okay.
I can change the look of my armor with disguise self, right?
Yeah, disguise self is a complete makeover package.
Okay, then I'll do the same, but I'll look like one of the guards that we killed.
Okay. So you
And I have a disguise kit.
Disguise kit, slightly different, and takes a lot longer than a spellcast.
You mean I can't just like get some white paint, make myself look like a ghost, and
You could. It'll take you the better part of, depending on how good you want to make it, the better part of like half an hour to do it.
never mind. I stay invisible.
I'm just like, well, the sneaky one has gotten us this far. Do you see anything else?
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. How do we get out of here?
So,
I hadn't thought that far. You hear from the abyss because I'm invisible.
I'm just going to look around and see if I see any signs of like an escape from this position.
Make me a perception check.
24.
Looking around and, kind of getting the lay of the land as you guys have been walked. You've been walked for about 10 minutes towards the gallows. You know that the gallows are roughly about 5 minutes away from where you are. But you do know the vampire city itself, as every vampire house is, there is a large wall that encircles the vampire city and separates it from everything else. And from everything you can see, you think if you were to go north from where you are, you're probably about 1,000, maybe 1,500 feet from one of the walls. The walls generally tend to be anywhere from 15 to 30 feet high and have spikes and gargoyles and other things like that on them to scare people. But generally, for the vampire houses, there is one entrance and exit to the house, or to the vampire city itself, and it's heavily guarded. The walls, much less so. Generally no one is stupid enough to try and break into a vampire city. And
I don't see any more symbols.
From where you currently are, no. But I will have you roll a history check for me.
Okay.
Argenta's just gonna throw her like weather cloak on, put up, and let her hair down for the first time so that she looks more drowish than normal.
Okay.
Rolled a 19.
Okay. You remember a job that went really bad. And instead of just walking away, it got to the point where you and your former mentor were in a position where you couldn't just walk away. Your cover had been blown. People were coming for you. And the escape plan that you always had for situations like this involved explosions, blowing a hole in the wall.
Ah.
So you can see the parallels to what happened then as far as what happened now. However, the explosions themselves, your former vampire captor went towards the explosions.
Uh-huh.
So while you think there's probably a hole in the wall there, you're not sure exactly how easy it's going to be for everyone else to get through with you being invisible for another hour, is it?
Yeah. I think so. Alright.
Well,
I turn to my compadres. But y'all can't see that.
Yeah. Argenta's just like, the closest wall is to the north from here. I think it's about 1,000 feet.
Does anybody have anything that can go boom?
I turn to the commander.
Everyone's just shooing. They're all looking at you.
Everybody.
Hi.
We need to blow a hole in the
anyone?
Victor? I wouldn't even have enough to do anything on me, would I?
Make me a straight intelligence check.
Ooh, okay. Where do I add? Okay. What was that number again? 16.
16. So, it would take most of your black powder, but you think you could probably make kind of a faux shape charge, but it would mean that your gun was basically useless until you could acquire more black powder.
Okay.
And if things go poorly, this is a one shot. So if things go poorly, you will make a massive amount of noise. But if the shape charge doesn't work the way it's supposed to, if the wall is thicker than you think it is, you're going to tell them exactly where you guys are.
I tell them all that.
How about we have some of my alchemy supplies coming home to use the powder? Maybe that would be you need rest.
Go ahead and make me an intelligence check, Lillian.
4.
Yeah, you have never worked with black powder before. You're not. You've never been a musketeer, and the Valachians are very, very protective of the secrets of their firearms. So you don't know the chemical composition of the black powder, and therefore you wouldn't be able to really amplify it or anything with your alchemical supplies, just because, again, you don't know what it is.
Sort of just looking at the group, because I know they're all magical and I'm not. I just like, can any of
You're
you...
magical in your own way.
Can any of you make things quiet? I used to know somebody that could.
I can make
I'm
opposite of quiet.
Yes, I'm a bard. Being quiet is not one of my specialties.
I avoid noise in general, to where I don't need to worry about it.
I think we should head towards that wall, see what we're dealing with.
At most, I can create like the sound of thunder, but that won't mask this, I don't think.
So are we heading to the wall to see what we're doing?
Yes.
We can't stay
I
there.
think staying here is a bad idea.
Yeah,
Preach
so
and I will go first, since we're, I look like one of the guards and she's invisible.
As you guys are sitting there kind of preparing to go, you hear the sound of metal on metal, and you realize that some sort of battle is happening outside.
I will,
Which direction?
To the east, where the explosions came from,
Okay.
which also happens to be the direction of the gallows. The gallows just happen to be in between you guys and the explosions.
I say we go for the battle.
I don't think so. I'd rather not.
Yeah, because right now all the city guards are in that place, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to use Mask of Many Faces again and change my appearance from a guard. After hearing this, realizing they'll probably need me in battle, and look more like a vampire noble.
Okay, so both you
But
and Vala kind of look like more general vampire nobles. You do know that even like your standard noble, vampires themselves are very powerful creatures. So even the non-guards generally would be able to hold themselves in a fight with anyone that would be attacking unless it's another house. And that hasn't happened since the house system really formed. So, yeah, there's less of a chance of you being told to fight, but it's not outside the realm of reason for somebody to just go, hey, come help us kill stupid humans.
Let's go the opposite direction. If everybody's fighting over there, it'll be harder for them to notice us escaping. Essentially.
Well, you know, the west wall is much further away. The north wall is the one that's closest to you, and the east is where the combat is. So.
Okay.
Alright. I'll go to the edge of where the north is and kind of peek out to see if there's anybody.
Okay, perception check, please.
Are we in direct set? No, we're not. Never mind. Vampire City. 14.
So looking around, you
15. Sorry.
You see a few people kind of going indoors. Otherwise, the streets are kind of empty. You do kind of duck back into the alleyway as you see a few guards running to the east to join whatever is happening.
Okay. I'll kind of signal the rest of them that it looks clear.
Okay.
So are you guys making your way to the north wall?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd say so.
Just to kind of speed the narrative along. You make it to the north wall. This particular wall is about 20 feet high, made of stone with some metal inlays in it for decoration. They're not really support. And then there are spikes and gargoyles at the top of it. And you get there without being noticed, and there's no one currently around you.
I'm going to actually see if I can attempt to scale it at all.
Sure. It'll be difficult.
Okay.
And your rage at this point is worn off.
Yep.
But it'll be an athletics check. There are handholds because of the kind of metal decorations on it.
Okay, athletics, right?
Yep. It'll be made with disadvantage, unfortunately, because it's not
Okay.
meant to be climbed. But
18.
18's enough. It takes you the better part of like 5 minutes, but you're able to get up to the top of the wall. You can see the fighting itself is starting to die down now. You can see the fires from the explosion are smoldering down in the air. The rain is slowly putting them out. And from where you are, you can see a fair amount of the city. And you can see people rushing over to where the dead guards are.
I'm going to quickly toss down 20 feet of rope and use the other 20 feet to, like, scale down the other side so I can bear weight on the other side.
Okay. Is anyone going to hold it or just watch him fall?
I'll hold it, even though I'm not
Yeah, I'll hold it.
particularly strong.
Okay. So between the two of you, you guys kind of brace yourselves, and he goes down. You now have a rope.
Since I'm right there, I'll just climb up.
Yeah. Since you have our Argenta there and everything, the combination, everyone can get over the wall without too much difficulty. I'll just have Argenta roll me one athletics check, just to see how long it takes.
28.
Yeah, you guys You have your own personal elevator.
I pull the rope onto the other side, and I'm just like, that at least doesn't leave evidence of where we went.
So as
Good
you
idea.
So as you guys look around, you are on the vampire city itself is built on the top of a plateau, and in front of you is about a 30-foot drop. So not an incredibly, and it's not like a straight down. It's an angled 30-foot drop, and then forest and swampland.
I'll grab the rope from Argenta and say hold on to it, and then
Okay.
cast fly and just bring the rope down so everyone can get down.
Okay. So again, you guys don't have too much difficulty getting down. There's handholds and things like that, and with a rope, you're fine. So you guys are now outside House d'Anjou, and outside the city around it, because the wall that you went over, there wasn't a city on that side of it. The city didn't wrap around the back of this particular one. So you guys are technically in the wilderness now, in a kind of very light swamp where it's wooded, but there's there's pools of water every so often, never more than a few inches deep. Unfortunately, that is where we are going to end it for tonight. So, thanks to everybody who tuned in. If you want to see the rest, where I don't mute myself at the beginning, I do upload all these to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/TrainerJody. I am a Twitch partner now, so if you would like to help support me in making these games and other things that I do, you can subscribe to me on Twitch. You can even use your Amazon Prime free subscription to subscribe to me. If you want to support me that way. Otherwise, all the episodes go up on the YouTube channel, so you can catch up on all the shenanigans there. And the YouTube channel is youtube.com/TrainerJody. I'm Trainer Jody everywhere. If you type Trainer Jody one word into Google, I'm pretty sure I'm one of the top hits now, because I've been around the internet long enough that I show up at search engines. That's all for me today, and I will see you guys next time. All right. Bye-bye.